Council President, we're ready to start. Okay. Council agenda, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, regular Township Council meeting of March 25th, 2025. Introduction, posting of notice. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the Municipal Building on March 20th, 2025, which remained posted since that date. Notice was transmitted to the Daily Record and Newark Star Ledger on March 20th, 2025, and posted to the Township website on March 20th, 2025. Can I ask everyone to please stand for the flag salute?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Here.
Mr. McGrath.
Here.
Mr. Musella.
Here.
Mr. Neglia.
Here.
Mr. Karifi.
Here.
Also in attendance are Business Administrator Jamie Cryan, Mayor James Barbario, Township Attorney Michael Lavery, and Municipal Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. Can we begin?
Yes, please.
Upcoming meetings, April 1st, 2025 at 7 p.m. is the agenda meeting, and April 15th, 2025 at 7 p.m. is the regular meeting. Moving on to ordinances, a second reading and public hearing. Ordinance 2025-01. At this time, Council President, the ordinance is in the process of being redrafted to include some additional language, so I'll ask for a motion to table this ordinance.
Well, while we're on this ordinance, are we...
Before we start, I need a motion and a second, and then
Second.
you can... Second? Okay, so motion made by Ms. Hernandez, seconded by Mr. McGrath. Go ahead, Mr. Musella.
Yeah, my point about ordinance 2025:1 and ordinance 2025:2 is the fact that New Jersey law requires that all ordinances on second reading like this one be advertised to the public in at least 10 days notice. And it's been made aware to me that the township did not advertise to the public within at least 10 days that there would be a public hearing on both of these ordinances tonight at this location.
Well, first of all, they did advertise 10 days prior to. It always is advertised 10 days prior to. I can assure you that, and you can check the newspaper. Second of all, there is no public hearing on this particular ordinance because it's going to be tabled. And the next ordinance is also not going to be tabled, but I'm going to have Michael Lavery instruct you guys to basically kill this ordinance because it also has to be redrafted. So that point at this particular time is moot, but I can assure you, Mr. Musella, that all ordinances for public hearing are advertised appropriately and according to the law.
Okay, but to be clear, so both ordinances will not be voted on tonight, so anyway.
That is correct.
Okay, all right.
So we have a motion made by Mr. McGrath and seconded by Mr. Hernandez. This motion is to table. Mr. Hernandez.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
And Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. Moving along. Mr. Lavery, I'll ask you just to instruct the council how to proceed so we can take care of this ordinance, please.
Sure. There are some substantive changes that were made from the first reading, so this will have to be reintroduced. So I would just suggest that the council president or the clerk call for a motion, and then if the motion's not made, it dies. And then what will happen is once the revisions are made, it will be reintroduced. So I would just suggest that somebody make the motion, and then because you're not.
So we need a motion and no second. And once we have a motion without a second, the ordinance will die, and then we will have a new ordinance that is to be redrafted. Okay, so can I call for a motion, please?
Well, can we just get an explanation on why it's being redrafted?
Sure.
Yeah, there were some questions about like zoning, and then some changes that were made. I thought that it was really like wordsmithing more than anything else, but if you make a change to an ordinance from first reading to second reading that's more than an and to a the or something like that, it's got to be reintroduced. So even though they're substantive because it's more like describing words, for lack of a better term, it doesn't change the body. It's not going to change it in any wholesale manner.
So can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and no second? Okay, fantastic. Motion by Mr. Musella. No second. This motion is dead. Ordinance is dead. Okay, we're moving along to the public session. I'd like to entertain a motion to open up the public.
Motion.
Council President,
Yeah.
before, we have a motion and a second. I know Council President wanted to make an announcement, so before we go to roll call, I'll have Council President make an announcement.
Okay, a couple things before we get started. If we have anyone yelling out vulgarities, obscenities, anything that is inappropriate behavior, you will be removed from the meeting. Just letting you know now. We're not going to put up with this. Everyone in here is a grown adult. Okay, we don't need that kind of behavior. We want to make sure that everyone here is heard, okay, and everyone gets a chance to speak. And to ensure that, we're going to be cutting down the open public to 1 minute because, all right.
Here we go.
Well,
Always,
listen,
always.
we want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to speak. If we left it at the normal time, we may not be able to have everyone get up and speak. And we want to assure that everyone is given the opportunity to speak. Okay, so 4 hours from now, if half of you haven't had a chance to speak, that's a problem. So we're cutting it down to 1 minute. You can say what you want to say in a minute, so we can ensure that everyone gets a chance to speak. That's why we're doing that. We want to make sure every voice is heard.
Council President.
Okay, again, there. Okay, you want to yell? Go ahead. You want to yell? Keep it up. Okay, just keep it up.
Council President,
Did you hear what I said? We're going to be moving on. We have a vote.
well, hold on. Before we have a vote, it seems to me that anytime this body does not like the speech of the public, you limit the speech of the public.
Would you prefer that people don't get to speak?
I would.
Would you prefer that people don't get to speak?
I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
And if we're going to have a code of conduct for the public, I suggest you follow the code of conduct with me.
Really?
Number two is I believe that everybody should have their allotted time of 5 minutes to speak. I think that's the right thing to do. It's fair by the public, and we should put it to a vote to see who's interested in suppressing what the public has to say.
Again, the public will not be suppressed because every person will get the opportunity to speak. Every single person. This ensures that everyone in here, if they all wanted to come up and speak, every single person would have the opportunity.
Okay, at this time,
How old are you, ma'am?
We have.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay, let's.
All right. Can
sir,
I get?
can we have the vote?
So a motion and a second, please. Who made the motion? Mr. McGrath. Can I have a motion to open up the public session?
Well, aren't we making a motion on voting on the public's right to speak?
That's up to the council president.
Well, we have a meeting. Did we have a second for that? He made a motion for.
Well, I would like to make a motion that we reinstate the public's time at 5 minutes and that we don't cut
Which
it.
motion will we hear first?
All right, so at this particular time, there was a motion on the table. We'll dead that motion. We'll take Mr. Musella's motion. So, Mr. Musella, can you please repeat your motion for the record?
My motion is to enable that the public has 5 minutes to speak.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do I have a second on that? Okay, since I do not have a second, that motion dies. Moving on to the next motion, could I please have a motion to open up the public session?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Ms. Hernandez. Roll call. Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion passes. The floor is open to the public. You have 1 minute to speak. Before you speak, please state your name and where you're from and sign the notepad up there. Thank you.
My name is Helen Trinkle.
Can you speak into the mic, please? Thank you.
Okay. My name is Helen Trinkle. I reside at 10 Southwood Drive. On January 20th, a water main broke in front of 8 Southwood Drive. The break in front of number 8 caused a flood of water, sand, rock, and other debris to flow across my front lawn and my side lawn, resulting in significant damage. We filed a claim with the township, but no one from the water department or anyone else came after the initial day to check out the property. The only response we received was a one-page letter from your insurance company denying our claim. After living in this township for over 50 years, paying faithfully our taxes, this lack of response is disappointing and shameful. I call on the council to take responsibility for the damage that the water system
Ma'am, you have 10 seconds.
and fix my property.
Settle down.
And fix my property.
Sir,
as
please
soon
keep
as
it down,
possible.
okay? You've been given the rules, the guidelines that we're following tonight. Again, we're all grown adults in here. Please act it. Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm saying, please have someone come out, look at it, and fix it. There is piles of rock and sand all over our property.
Excuse me, Mr. Crine, can we?
Yes.
Can we get her address, her name and
Yes.
address, so we can have somebody go look at that, please?
If you could just sign the sheet with your name and address.
I mean, I have video. You can hear it. It's running like crazy.
Okay. If you, Colette, did she give that to you?
Council President.
Yeah. Could you give that to our clerk, ma'am? That information that you're writing down?
It's okay. You could write it down there, and then we'll collect it. We know she's the first speaker, so we'll
Go
take
ahead.
her.
So what we'll do is we will get a copy of the video and we'll send it to our
No, she didn't
township
want a copy
engineer.
of the video. No, the clerk did not want a copy of the video. She wanted 3 or 4 pictures. We sent 3 or 4 pictures. They do not show the real damage.
She could send them.
Okay, send you the video, and send all the pictures. Okay, we'll do it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. Chris Mazzarella, Parsippany, New Jersey. I didn't prepare anything to come say here because I got a lot to say and I know I have a minute and I'm fine with a minute because what I've watched for 3.5 years is things not get done because we're busy arguing about it. Everything turns into an argument and our town suffers because of it. If you can't say what you need to say in a minute, there's nothing you can say that's going to change that. Sorry for talking to them. But at some point in time, the town needs to come first from everybody up there, not just one person saying it does come first. I don't care who wins an election. I don't care who's running for the election. All I do know is the town suffers when we do this every time somebody has a problem with how they're being treated. The issue was brought to you last time. Did you have any other incidences where you handed over your card? You said you do not recall. I'll ask you, was there ever a time, other than the one time on tape, that happened? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
And you can come up to the mic.
My name is, does this work?
You just speak it to the mic. Yeah, it works.
Good evening. My name is Dorothy Allerine. I've lived on Fox Hill Road for over 50 years. Last meeting I attended, I asked Mr. Barbieri to consider looking into why we have 8-ton trucks allowed on our road. And I know it was 1976 or something. My concern is this. We're getting more trucks, and there was an 18-wheeler wheeling by my house, which is on a curve. My significant other tried to get his phone out to take a picture, because it wasn't 16-wheel, it was 18, and he appeared to be moving rather quickly, which was remarkable, because it's on a sharp curve. Have you looked into anything, have you had time, Mayor, to look into if we could change that? Because I see a big danger. There was an accident there, and it was just a regular car.
10 seconds, ma'am.
Okay, I'm asking, did you have an opportunity, I know you're busy, and it's an election year, so you got a lot to do. Have you had time to look into resolving the danger?
The
Thank you.
engineer has reached out to the DOT. 'Cause I know we've had this conversation prior.
Yeah.
I didn't have a conversation with anybody other than
I gotta be honest with you,
Township.
the acoustics up here is horrible. I can hardly
Oh,
even
I
hear.
didn't hear from anybody.
I know, I can't either, so I do apologize.
Okay, anyway, can you get back to me at some point to let me know if we're going to rectify that?
Sure.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Ma'am, just make sure you use the mic.
No, I think I can talk.
No, it has to be for the record, ma'am, only.
We need it for the
Thank you
record,
for
and they
offering.
want to hear you.
It's only for the record. So it's
Can
gonna
you hear me
maintain the
now?
record. Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, great. My name is Barbara Matthews. I live on Mitchell Road for 40 years. 40 years we've owned our home. When I'm thinking about the other people talking tonight, I'm realizing that 4 to 5 times we have had the Department of Engineering out to see the problem that the city created for us over 2.5 or 3 years ago when they put in the new sidewalks on Mitchell when they upgraded it. We've had trouble ever since. Their answer always is, we'll be back next week, and that's the last that you hear about them. And that's including the supervisor of that engineering department. I even thought his name was Justin, but I may be wrong. I have a couple of other things just to say about what's going on tonight. While walking around out here in the parking lot before I came in, I was looking at the cars and I noticed that a couple of them had these PBA tags on them in the back window. The back left windows.
Ma'am, your
And-
time is up.
Well, can I finish this? Mr. Karifi, I asked one of the people, where did you get that? They told me, oh, I had to buy that one. But if you want one, go inside and ask Paul Karifi Jr. He carries them around in his pocket, and he'll be happy to give you one. It's a
Okay,
get out of
time's up,
speeding
ma'am.
free.
Time's up. I'll answer your question. I don't have any.
Well, I'm
I don't
sorry,
have any.
because you probably ran out of them.
If,
What happened to the
if you
30
can give me the name of the
seconds?
person that told you that, I'll make sure I...
Listen, if I could get him, I would.
Okay.
I was looking for him before. If I find him, I'll bring him
Okay,
straight
great.
to you, and
Thank
you and
you.
your guys can take care
I'd
of him.
appreciate that, because I would love to know who's
And
spreading
I
that
have
rumor.
one other
Thank
thing
you.
that I
Okay,
would like to
next.
say, which
Ma'am,
is
your time is up,
that
ma'am.
when you have a newcomer to the council,
Ma'am, your time is up. Your time is up.
I'm sorry, I'm hard of hearing.
Your time is up.
Did you say time is up?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you know what I'm going to say? Justin for mayor.
Good evening, Ray Santana, 21 Wildwood Trail. In an effort to become more informed of both candidates' positions on certain things, I reviewed Mr. Musella's public safety plan and I found several misleading claims. He accuses the police department administration of corruption and unfounded allegation, falsely states that crime in Parsippany is rising, also pledged to increase traffic enforcement but voted against the budget 3 consecutive years, which included funding for the police department, traffic enforcement, and the reinstatement of traffic division. The facts tell a different story. Crime in Parsippany has actually decreased since 2022. Recent crime statistics show a decline, with crime rates now lower than both Morris County and state averages. Between 2019 and 2022, nonviolent crime in Parsippany rose 4.6 per 100,000 persons. For Morris County, it rose 3.3, and for New Jersey, 1 to every 100,000 persons. Since 2022, crime has decreased to its current level, which most recent statistics for 2023, 0.01 for every 100,000 persons in Parsippany, surpassing Morris County as a whole. Regarding the pedestrian safety, Mr. Musella cites fatalities to justify his plan. However, the 3 pedestrian deaths in Parsippany this year all occurred outside of crosswalks on Route 46 between Vail and Baldwin at night. Statewide pedestrian fatalities have actually increased,
10 seconds.
with 209 reported this year compared to 153 at this time last year. While every loss is tragic, these 3 incidents do not indicate a local crisis. It's simply fear-mongering.
Sir, time's up.
Thank you.
My name is Amit Mitra. I've been in Parsippany since 1992. I moved from Powder Mills to where I live now on Fox Chase Drive because of the thick woods, the ambience, and the habitats we have, which I really enjoyed. I saw the house the first time, I said, this is the one I want. The woods have been destroyed and cut down. There's a warehouse being built there. We had talked to the last administration, they did squat. We were totally ignored. Then when they started building, our homes started shaking. They shook, the rafters were rattling, picture frames fell off the walls. I complained to the current administration, nothing happened. I even sent follow-ups and videos, nothing happened. But then Justin came and planted some trees after all that was done, out to screen us from this. And both Justin and Mayor Barberio interceded with Tom Andes. I think, Justin, you did it first, and asked that we should have a fence at least to separate us from the factory for security.
Time's up, sir.
Well, I have a quick question. Do you have a schedule for the fence from
Mayor?
Denver?
He asked if there was a schedule for the fence
When
behind
is
his
it going to
property
come up?
for the warehouse in
We're
Denville.
going to have to find out. They still got to go through the permitting process. So I have to see what their schedule is. It's not our construction board, it's theirs.
Okay, well, appreciate it.
We'll find out as we get more detail.
Okay, and I thank you for I got the letter. I thank you for
I mean, we couldn't speak on this in the previous meetings because we were going back and forth with Denville. And we didn't want to say anything that might not happen. When we got the good news, we shared it with the residents that we met in my office.
All right, thank you. So you let me know, right? You'll send us a letter?
Yes, he'll let you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
My name's Marie. I live at 3 Duville Drive in Parsippany. I grew up in Parsippany, and I remember sitting at the dinner table listening to my parents worry that the Democrats were going to raise our taxes again. Those were the good old
Ma'am,
days.
yeah, could you face us, please? Thank you.
This is me facing you. Make sure you stop the timer. I've dragged myself here not because of a policy pertaining to Parsippany like a warehouse, a billboard, or a high-rise. I grew up in Parsippany, but I also spent 10 years away before coming back to what I consider to be home. I assure the residents, council, and the mayor that whether in the deep south, a major college town with more college kids than residents, or the freezing depths of Alaska, this is not how politics are done. I am one of the many, many residents that have expressed their opinions online, that have written letters, and that are here tonight to demand a no to the censure
10
vote.
seconds, ma'am.
Okay. Y'all keep saying nobody is above the law. I see that. I see that. But whose law exactly are we following?
Supposed to face.
Please face us, ma'am.
Okay. So I will repeat what I was just saying. You're saying nobody is above the law, but whose law are we following? Right?
Okay, time's up.
Thank you. Yep. Oh, by the way, Paul, I'm almost 40, so am I allowed to be here and talk?
Yes, you are. Just please
need
act
you-
40.
I just need
That's
you to
all I
sign.
ask.
I'm
Like
sorry.
you, right?
I'm sorry, ma'am. I just need you to
How old
sign.
are you asking?
Ma'am, I just need you to sign the book, please.
Yeah. Oh, I will.
Thank you.
Anthony Longo, Lake Parsippany. What I've been hearing, water pipes break, crappy roads, high taxes. Nothing's really getting done. Now, all I have to say is this last part, because it's going to be less than a minute. When does Masella and Barbiero have a debate? It's about time. Let's see what they have to say. Put up or shut up.
Tony Fasano, 41 Robin Hood Road. Council members, sadly, this is a kind of behavior that would not be accepted from someone who has struggled to maintain stability in their careers. Having held 7 jobs within the past 10 years and graduating from college, this means he can't hold a job. Masella's inexperience and lack of commitment raised serious concerns about his suitability for the role of mayor. His actions reveal several deeply flawed character that makes it difficult to trust him, to do the right thing, and what matters most. I wholeheartedly support the censorship and resolution because of our elected officials must be held accountable for the unlawful acts. We cannot afford to overlook implications and having someone inexperienced in such a crucial position. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. I have a very simple request. We've now heard 3 people talking about statistics of how Parsippany is great, how somebody's not about the law, and it's exactly what the first person said is there's more fighting than doing with the, like somebody else said, some crappy roads and high taxes. What I would request is a debate between Justin and Mayor so that the issues, not the personalities, the issues of Parsippany can be discussed. The personalities, I am sure that if somebody was to do a hitman job on any one of you, they could find something or the other that is
10
questionable.
seconds, ma'am.
But okay.
Just need you, ma'am,
Talk about
I just
what
need you to...
interests us, not what interests you. Please.
Ma'am, if you could please just sign the book.
I did.
You did? Thank you so much, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Mark Philhauer. I'm tempted to say that I live on 590 Route 46 alternate, but it's formerly called Vale Road. I walk my dog virtually every morning on Twin Oaks Road. Last Wednesday morning, I got the feeling that just about every car was speeding down Twin Oaks Road to avoid the crossing guard. And I thought of that 8-year-old boy who was killed on Parsippany Road last summer. We have 4 young boys who ride their bicycles to school in good weather, and they're crazy. And they ride out in the middle of the road. And I thought, I better do something about this. So Wednesday afternoon, I went over to police headquarters to express what I saw. And I talked to Patrolman Conover. And he said, well, we want to find out exactly how many cars and how fast they're going. Short story long. Sorry about that.
Sir, time's up.
Turn that around.
Sir, your time is up.
Thursday afternoon, there was a radar box.
Sir, your time is up.
Give me one second. I want to say thank you to the police. There was a radar box on Twin Oaks, just like the patrolman promised. I want to say thank you to our police department. they couldn't be more responsive
Thank you.
to something from a resident. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, could I just have you sign the book? Sir, just need you to sign. I'm sorry, sir.
Good evening, Parsippany residents. Great turnout. Council members and mayor, thank you for the opportunity. I just want to be here and say that let's talk about the substantive issues of Parsippany. Bad roads, higher taxes, not fighting amongst each other. Let's come up with proper solutions for Parsippany residents, improve roads and parks in our area. I've been coming around for every meeting actually since 2016. Promises made, promises broken. Nothing's been done. Let's work and improve Parsippany. Not work for big builders, okay, that are putting money for the electoral process. Work for the residents who pay taxes, not the builders. Let's do that, okay? Let's work for residents.
10 seconds.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay, my name is Bob Venezia. I live at 102 Brooklawn Drive in Parsippany. I hope that the council members will see the Musella speeding incident for what it is, a routine traffic stop that is being exaggerated for political purposes. To be fair, Councilman Musella exhibited poor judgment when he added his council card to his wife's document when he got pulled over. But I don't think that that rises to the category of a censurable offense. The councilman, immediately at the beginning of the stop, the councilman was recognized by the policeman, so that the information on the card was totally redundant. The councilman's card created just a false perception of intimidation. In the absence of a bribe or real intimidation, the grounds for censuring are weak at best. Let the voters decide how serious the speeding ticket incident is when they are in the voting booth, weighing it against the current mayor's record in office.
Time's up.
Hey, Bob, you sign the book? Thank you, Bob. It's all right, don't worry about it. I know who you are.
My name is Siobhan Fuller McConnell, and I live on 12 Adelphia Road. I don't care if he handed his card over or not. He sat in council chamber and said the cops were not doing their job and not giving enough speeding tickets. Then he encouraged his wife to speed on a residential street, knowing that as a councilman in this town, any cop would be hard-pressed to give him a ticket. It was wrong. We need to hold our elected officials to a higher standard. No speeding on our residential roads, period, amen, no further discussion. Well then, I hope everyone who is booing doesn't have their child riding a bike on the road when Mr. Justin goes speeding.
Please.
Before
you start counting, I'd like you to know that I think it's disgraceful that you didn't let us know that it was going to be a 1-minute limit before the meeting so we could prepare ourselves. I prepared 4 minutes and 13 seconds of comment, and obviously you're not interested in hearing it because it's inconvenient. My name is Hank Heller. I've lived in Parsippany for 55 years. So with all of our PLA and pilot problems and discussions, a new dark horse came out of Parsippany's Town Council, Justin Musella. He alone spoke up for the people against PLAs and pilots. But in the Parsippany-Morris County political machine, that has also risen up and in a most childish way attacked his candidacy because he might have avoided a speeding ticket once or twice or how many. How disrespectful to the voters of Parsippany for those of our town council to use such meager offense to try to knock down Musella for mayor. To most of us who think as well as read, we understand that the letter to the editor writers who work for the township or citizens whose children work for the township have good reason to support the current administration. When Mr. Smith or others write with heat, I get it. They have good reasons, and I have no problem with them. But most of us do not work for the town and only expect Parsippany's leadership to help make our town better. Many of those same people are feeling very disappointed in our administration. You have everything so nicely arranged. Yes, vote
Mr. Heller, time's up.
to censure your political, based upon your political needs and desires. But I think you've given Musella a gift. I don't know
Mr.
if
Heller,
he'll be a great
your time's
mayor,
up.
but I know you've shot yourself in the foot. Thank you.
Mr. Heller, if you could please sign in.
I will do that.
Thank you, sir.
Eric Zimmerman, Hiawatha Boulevard. I'd like to address the council directly. I won't need a full minute to express my disappointment in your behavior. I was there at the last meeting. I'm here at this meeting. You like to belittle the residents that you say that you're representing. You'd like to silence them. If you don't like what you're hearing, you try to restrict the speech or the verbiage. It's your job to hear us, every one of you. If you don't want to do that, you should step down. Personally, I don't see a single person up here that commands my full respect, that commands my full trust. I've been here since '92, and I can't say things have gotten better. I want to see every single one of you fight for your positions. I want to see every single one of you explain why you should have that seat and not somebody else, like one of us. Just because you've been there forever, or just because you've been here for a long time, does not mean you should be. Have a good day.
Patrick DiViantonio, Parsippany. I find it both ironic and appropriate that we are here at the high school this evening. It was in this building 50 years ago that our cross-country coach would use the discipline and endurance required by the sport in his lessons about virtues such as truth, duty, beauty, love, and honor. These are principles to live by. This evening, the Township Council will be asked to vote on censuring one of its members. I would ask that each member think about the meaning of these virtues before casting their vote, because it is the measure of your honor that will be on display this evening.
Komiak from Lake Hiawatha. I also find it ironic that right now in Washington, D.C., we have an administration and a chief executive who's a convicted felon, a tax cheat, and a grifter. And he's assembled this mob of mafia wannabes to destroy the republic and to eliminate faith in our Constitution. So what is that compared to a traffic stop? Donald Trump also let out of jail his mob, his MAGA mob that assaulted police officers. So I don't think anybody here really, I don't understand it. I just don't understand why we had to pick censoring.
10 seconds, Nick.
It should have been, there should be a debate, there should not be a censor. And I have my differences with Justin, and I'm probably not even going to vote for the guy. But think about what you're doing, all right?
Hello, my name is Dolores Salazzo, 5 Brentwood Drive, Morris Plains, New Jersey. I'm here to speak to say please do not censor Marcella. Everyone has a right to speak, but it looks like you're going to head in that direction, just like you censor us to 1 minute, just like it was censored at the pilot program when everyone came out to say we don't want Parsippany overdevelopment. We used to be Tree City, USA. Now all the trees are getting cut down. The animals are coming across my property, the foxes, the bears, everybody, the turtles, everybody's coming out of the swamp because the warehouses are all being demolished. I'm very upset. I mean, James Barrio, you had an animal shelter under your regime? No.
10 seconds.
And
10 seconds,
it was a kill shelter, and now all the animals are getting killed again because of the overdevelopment, and I don't want to see Parsippany change. And I would like to see Marcella be able to debate you.
Time's up, man.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Densmore, and I live at 87 Marrow Road in Lake Hiawatha. I am not here to throw mud at anyone. I just want to bring up this point. On June 10th, in the Republican primary, one of you will win and one of you will lose. This campaign has reached a point of nastiness on both sides that I quite frankly have never seen before. My question is this: when the dust is settled, how does the winner plan to win a general election with a divided Republican Party and in a purple town? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Harold Marshall. I'm at 75 Lakeshore Drive, Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey. I just have a little situation here with our memorial place down in Lake Hiawatha Park by the swim club. You know what that is. In honor of our Lake Hiawatha son who made the supreme sacrifice in Vietnam, John Peter, K-O-O-B, United States Army, killed in action, December 17, 1968. Private Donald Lee Wilkerson, United States Army, killed in action, June 15, 1969. My problem is there's no lights over that memorial. There's no flag over that memorial. There's no lights and flag nowhere near that memorial. Why is that? I don't know why. I hope y'all can fix it. United States of America Constitution.
Good evening. I have to adjust this. I'm a little vertically challenged. Danielle Cascone, Robin Hood Road. I didn't intend to speak. What I'd like to would say is there was a previous speaker who mentioned that there's nothing happening in this town. I beg to differ. There is monstrosity of buildings being built to the left, to the right, to the front, and to the back of my home. We have been woken up at 6:30 every morning on weekends during the week to jackhammers, okay? I want the opportunity to vote for someone who's going to stop that work from happening all around us, okay, to Metropolis. And I'm telling you now, no one seems to care except for the people who are knocking at my door in 25-degree weather, talking about these pilot programs and my taxes, okay? That's not a democracy. Censuring any candidate is not a democracy. And I want that opportunity to vote for whoever everybody feels is best served their purposes. And I will just follow and at last end up by saying I'd like to know anybody on this council who was last cited with a citation. Other than a parking ticket, when's the last time anybody on this council got a ticket for anything?
Time's up, ma'am.
PBA cards and gold cards exist for a reason, so that police officers have discretion, and I'm sure you know that word very well. You have the discretion as police officers to make that decision. Discretion was used appropriately. Thank you.
Could I just ask you to sign in? Ma'am, thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Just to make everyone aware that a censorship does not remove Mr. Musella from the ballot. It does not prevent him from running. It has nothing to do with that. So if that's what, because we know there's been some social media posts out there where people are spreading that if Mr. Musella is censored, he will not be able to run for mayor. That is not correct whatsoever.
Well, you wish it did.
Go ahead and speak, sir.
My name is Paul Oliveira. I live right here on 19 Rita Drive. Just want to say, piggyback what a young lady was saying, that democracy thrives on disagreement. It thrives on debate. It thrives on the ability of people elected or otherwise to speak, to challenge, to hold strong convictions without fear or official retribution. When you resort to censure, you send a message that dissent is dangerous and that different opinions will be punished, and that political survival depends not on principles, but on staying in line. If you begin weaponizing censure, those you dislike or disagree with, who will be next? Okay? Let's not set a precedent where censure is used as a tool of silencing rather than a safeguard of true misconduct. Let's instead engage in open discussion, challenge ideas with ideas, and prove, I'm trying to read real because we've got a minute here, and prove our strength not by condemning, but by debating, all right? Please, censure is not a safeguard, it is a shortcut, and shortcuts in justice only leads to injustice. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. Tim Wyman, Ionic Court, Parsippany. I just have one question. If Mr. Musella did something so wrong, why did it take this board over 18 months to do anything about it? Who were you protecting when you didn't take action months ago? Should this entire panel be censured for dereliction of duty for not taking action?
I'll sign in after I talk. I only got a minute. Tom Hunter from the Rainbow Lakes section of town. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Just so you know where I'm coming from, 35-year resident, voted for most of you in the last election. So the confidence was there. I wanted to speak tonight to say you should not pursue the censure against a political opponent. In this case, Justin. I think the voters, including myself, elected you for your integrity. I think we just saw a national political party trying to smear and censor the now president, and the citizens spoke out with their votes. Page 2, sorry. Let's all learn from that lack of integrity strategy. I think it would be a backfire strategy for the Parsippany Republican Party. I know you will see how this would end up being a negative reflection of integrity, not just now, but in the upcoming election.
10 seconds, sir.
Got one line left, we're good. So let's just stay positive, let all parties run a great campaign, and let Parsippany residents be proud of that campaign. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Good evening. My name is Richard Young. I've lived on Intervale Road for 49 years. Parsippany's home. I think highly of it. I'd like to see that feeling continue. So there's a rumor running around town that Mayor Barbario and Mr. Griffey and Mr. McGrath are going to come to their senses and recognize that the honorable thing to do is to stop their lies about Councilman Masella and to take their unfounded attempt to censure him and put that away and live up to the concept of integrity and independent, positive thinking and ignoring political pressure. Thank you.
Mr. Young, can I ask you what those lies are exactly?
I'd be delighted to share that with you.
No,
Thank you for asking.
Go ahead.
I'd like to hear it.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, there's the indication from you gentlemen who are opposing Mr. Masella and attempting to censure him that he did something unethical in the traffic stop. And if you look at the entire video, not the little piece that some people have put up on the internet, but the entire video, you'll see that Mr. Masella never said, "Hi, I'm Mr. Masella, the councilman officer." He sat in his car and the officer said, "Mr. Masella," recognized him right away. There was never an attempt to do anything unethical. That answer, Paul?
Okay, all I'm going to say to you is, and I'd like to ask Mr. Westhoven to do the same thing, just Oprah some of the other surrounding towns, their traffic stops, because Mr. McGrath specifically asked Mr. Masella a question. If this was the only incident, and he said yes, and then I asked him the same question, and he said yes, and then a couple seconds later, he said that I could recall. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that. If you want to say we have lies, just go and Oprah some of the surrounding towns, and I think you'd be very surprised at what you would find. That's all I'll say.
Well, I thank you for that. And that isn't the issue here, is it? The issue is
the time is up. Time's up. You gave it.
Now it's up. Oh, calm down.
And what I would say in response is what we're hearing from residents right now, and we're probably going to hear from many more, is that people don't care about the value of my driving record. They care about who is best to drive Parsippany forward.
So, if I may, Council
Hold
President.
on. So, Councilman, you took an oath of ethics, though. You took an oath of ethics. You said you would follow the rules. And one of you people asked, did anybody else get a ticket? I got a ticket, and we paid it. That's it. I'm on council, and I've been on for a year. So you can say I'm not. We got a ticket. We paid it. It was for registration. But here's the problem. You take an oath of ethics, and you say that you're going to do something. And you can choose whether or not you trust that he followed or not. We went through a line of questioning. I asked him specifically. He said that they handed his identification, his business card, with the paperwork. That's before the cop came up, it was there. So if you feel that that's fine and you don't care about ethics and nobody else is going to come up and say, oh, this guy's on the take or that guy's this or that, then that's your opinion. But if you do feel that we should be held ethically responsible for what we choose, then that's where we're going to have to look at it, because I feel that is something you need to do. If you make an oath of office, you got to stand by it. If you choose not to, then don't. Great, I'd love to answer questions. Go ahead, ma'am. I'd love to answer it.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Go ahead.
No, please, ma'am, please sit down. Please sit down.
I think I should have 5 minutes now.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Kathy Wyman, Ionic Cord. Not as nice as my husband. As you all have stated about tickets and whatever, I don't think any of you are innocent in any kind of little perks in town. Because if that is the case, then there's a lot of dinners and lunches that are being paid or given to certain council members, or maybe we're paying the mayor too much money that he's dining out quite frequently. And Mr. Karifi, I find it very hypocritical of you, being what happened to your family in 2011, 13, 14, that your family was bullied by Mr. Barbario himself. So I find it very hypocritical of you to be feeling this way. And I really hope all of you think hard about what you're trying to do, because it could happen to you next. Because we're all going to be watching all of you and all the little perks that you might be getting in town. And I would like to know.
Time's up, ma'am.
My time is up. Thank you.
Hi, Toby Anderson, Tabor Road. I'm new to this whole conflict. I'd just like to say that whether you decide to censure or not, I think that if these rules are not already in place, you should clearly, in the future, state that any elected or employed officials who give anything other than their ID to an officer at a traffic stop should be subject to the same rule as everybody else, either termination or some other penalty, but it needs to be clearly stated. The police officers should be required to report these instances or suffer disciplinary measures if it's not already in place. They should be required to give at least the minimum penalty, and no warning should be allowed for elected officials or town employees. All cameras from traffic stops of public officials should be available online without an OPRA, unless they involve minors or trauma or something like that. That's without requiring an OPRA. That would get you past this issue, whatever you guys end up voting. I do think you should listen to the guy in the blue shirt about how it looks with the last election.
Good evening, council, residents. My name is Bill Donnelly. I live at 33 Dakota, Lake Hiawatha. I've been in town 40 years. I've seen mayors come and go, and I've seen the job that Mayor Barbario has done. He came into office with the township in debt from the previous mayor. He turned conditions around, and I think the censure issue is a distraction, okay? You know, whatever you feel about it, I think the greater question is who is the candidate that has the experience, the expertise, and recently a new certification to financially manage the township? Who's the best candidate to lead Parsippany into the future? I think it's Mayor Jamie Barbario. I think that's the only thing we should focus on. This is a distraction. I support Mayor Barbario going forward for good reason. Thank you.
How you doing? John Cascone, 15 Robin Hood Road. I've been a cop for 22 years. There's a word that we use, it's called discretion. I'm sure it was taught at every police academy. I'm sure the officers in here know. I'm going to expose it. We don't write each other. We don't write the UPS guy. We don't write the FedEx driver. We don't write the mayor. We don't write the town council. We don't write anybody. And that's fucking, and that is the God's honest truth. We don't write EMS guys. That's just the way it is. It's always been that way. And if anybody on that panel can tell me that they've never tinned somebody to get out of a stop, I'm going to call bullshit.
Sir, could I, excuse me. Thank you for signing in.
Hi, Carl Journey. Well, thanks. Don't tell my age. I really got old.
Sir, go
Sorry.
ahead.
Anyway, I know most of you guys up there, because we're all elected by us. But this is a distraction, as someone pointed out. I tend to vote for the best candidate, whether they're Democratic, Republican. Doesn't matter, whoever I think is best for the town, the state, the country, whatever. But, guys, you all have to get along. Censoring, why? Let's know everybody's opinion on the issues. There's no reason for this. Let's have a good campaign. Let's look out what's best for Parsippany. I'm here 40 years. I'll probably die here in 20 years. God, I hope I live that long. But anyway, you all know, I mean, I know you, Jamie, I know you 40 years. Frank, I know you from the West for at least 20, the way our kids are. And guys, let's just all get along, please. And let's look out what's best for the town. Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Lori Willis-Gilgore, and I live in Rainbow. And I actually came to this meeting tonight to talk about something else. I was interested in learning information about the redevelopment plan at 169 Lackawanna. So it said to attend this meeting tonight if you wanted to find out about that. Do you know if that was being voted on tonight? Do you know what I'm talking about?
That was at the beginning of our meeting. That was removed from the agenda. There was some verbiage that was not in there. So
I knew it was maybe going to be tabled. Is that what happened?
Yes,
That is correct.
Thank you.
My name is Jack Rea. I'm a member of the Parsippany Board of Education. My comments are my own and in my capacity as a private citizen. They do not reflect the point of view of the Board of Education. Are we now in a place where an office holder has to beg a police officer for a ticket at a traffic stop when the police officer has freely chosen not to issue a ticket? The officer freely exercises discretion to give Mrs. Masella a warning, and if Masella had been given a ticket, given Justin's mild demeanor, they would have taken the ticket home and paid for it. It's spectacles like this that keep good people out of public service. Politicians are not saints, and we shouldn't expect them to be. All of us are imperfect. Some effort must have been expended to find this video. If that's all they could find on Justin Musella, he must be very honest indeed. On something as potentially serious as a censure, there must be due process. There has been no independent finding of any wrongdoing whatsoever. There has been no cross-examination of the police officer by Mr. Musella. There is only a finding of wrongdoing by Mr. Musella's political
10
opponents.
seconds, sir.
What could go wrong with that?
else? Oh, wait. No, you can't come up, sir, you can't come up twice, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Okay.
it was 1 minute.
No.
Hi, my name is Olivia Batraki, and I live on 13 Littleton Road. As you know, 202 is a main road. I have 2 children who walk to and from school, and it puts the fear of God in me because of speeders that are on Littleton Road. I'm happy to see the police at the churches, staying there and monitoring for speeding, and it gives me a sense of comfort. But what I'd like to say is it's crucial to recognize that speeding is a serious problem in our town. I feel like I'm playing Frogger when I'm pulling out of my driveway, just trying to get onto 202 with my own car. I fear for my children that walk out to the main road every day. I need the speeding issue contained and an example set from our local government. The blatant hypocrisy of criticizing speeding one day and then exceeding the speed limit on the very same road on the next day is alarming. It underscores that Masella cannot be trusted to uphold the standards we expect from our leaders. I urge you all to take a stand and censure him. Let's work together to ensure that our town remains a safe and thriving community for everyone, for our children's sake. And this, I'm sorry, is for the mayor. Mayor, I grew up in New
10
Jersey.
seconds, ma'am.
And I grew up in 3 towns. I don't know any of the mayor's names. But my children, their friends, their acquaintances, when they see you, because you're in their schools, you're on the field supporting them, both academically.
Time's up, ma'am.
Oh, sorry.
Time's
We
up.
thank you for being there and putting Parsippany first.
Good evening, council members. I'm here tonight to lend my voice against the censure of
Sir,
Justin
could you state your
Masella.
name, please?
Oh, Michael Poplowski, Parsippany Boulevard, Parsippany. I'm against the censure of Justin Masella over his alleged attempt to use his authority to prevent the issue of a traffic ticket. The big question is, has been mentioned already, 18 months, 2 years ago, why now? A police officer has the discretion to determine whether the ticket is issued or a warning. From what I understand, the officer recognized Mr. Masella on site, and the passing of his business card is moot. Would this be different from any other office holder having identifying devices in their window or special license plates? We expect the best and most honorable decisions from our representatives. Let us allow the political process to run its proper, untainted course, representing the will of our residents. Thank you.
Good evening. Most of you know me. My name is Bruce Michaels. I've been a resident of this town for 60 years. You either recognize me or know me. I don't care which one of you wins ultimately, but I am dead fast against the censorship that you're about to vote on. Justin needs to at least have a fair shake, Mr. Mayor, Town Council, to at least, I'd like to hear a good debate between the two of them. Honestly. And I know most of you, I know many of you, You know me, I'd like to see a good debate. Forget this censorship. You've all used a card to get out of this or that. I know many of you have done it in the
10
past.
seconds, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Casey Parikh, 38 years residence of Parsippany. I wish it was not a political season. Because of that, we are all here tonight. It's a political season. There was no censor for many years for incidences much worse than this. This is the first time ever in Parsippany any councilman or a mayor will be censored if you decide. Okay? Even Frank Friary was not censored. And I can give you a lot of incidences where censor probably was required, but it was not done. Okay? Even mayor never censored Councilman Karifi and Valori after ethics complaint because of the English issue.
10 seconds. 10 seconds, sir.
Okay, so what I will do in 10 seconds, I'll tell everybody who had a written speech, just send it to Focus or Taping 2, because 1 minute is not enough. They probably have to go and work now. So, thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Dan Manley. I live on River Drive. I've been a Parsippany resident since 2013. Mr. Mayor, I voted for you in every election since I resided here. And tonight I am here to talk about the censure. Okay, like my brother officer over that spoke earlier, I have been involved in law enforcement for 17 years. And the two questions that I have, one, first and foremost would be, this incident happened 18 months ago. Okay, I want to know as a resident living in this community, why is this coming to light now? I understand there's processes and things that have to occur first, but in this situation, to me, this at least creates a sense of impropriety in this particular situation. That's not based on one side or the other, that's just my objective views and facts. In addition to being a law enforcement officer, I also run the Internal Affairs Bureau for my police department. I've seen a lot of different things over the years, and I can say without fact, without any question, obviously, police officers have discretion, but I would argue that most people wouldn't see people as a PBA. Most people wouldn't see the presentation of a PBA card as any different. So I'm wondering under these circumstances how it results in a censure for a councilman that is running against the sitting mayor. And again, I respect all of you, and I appreciate all you do.
Time's up, sir. Sir, just to answer your question in reference to why now, we had two residents at a meeting just a couple meetings ago come up and bring this to the council's attention and state statutes. And, sir, I'm trying to answer your question for you. So it just came up within the last 2 months. It was presented to us at a council meeting. If you go back, you could look at the videos, you'll see residents come up, and that's when we asked the town attorney in reference to it. So I'm just answering your question.
It's an answer, but it's a pathetic answer. So, yeah. So moving forward,
that's your opinion.
It is my opinion, but we're setting a dangerous precedent. So let's play this out. If residents in the future come up and make charges against Councilman Karifi, yourself, Council Vice President Neglia, Councilwoman Hernandez, are we just going to make motions to censure and draft ethics charges?
Substantial evidence?
You didn't even know at the time.
There's evidence.
You didn't know at the time. How could have you known at the time?
Right after the residents came up and said that, It was all over the place.
Hello everyone, my name is Danny Desai, 16 Alloway Road, Parsippany. I have a request for all of you guys. Can we focus on municipality business instead of all this debate and argument and not running the business? Today in Parsippany, if you try to get a permit, it's gonna take you a long time to get a permit. Why? Any builder doesn't want to come build anything in Parsippany, they're all scared to get a permit. Focus on that. Focus on road, focus on other issues instead of all this nonsense going on. I'm sick and tired of this debate and all this. Instead of do the debate for the next mayor, whoever is the best, let them win. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no one else. Oh, okay, come on up.
Bridget Cazzetto, Lake Parsippany. I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm just sick of writing letters, so since I'm here, I thought I'd speak. The majority of the residents, we don't care that Councilman Musella showed his card, his business card. What we care about is how much money John Inglesino has made off this town. Okay? That's what we care about. We care about the overdevelopment. I won't say corruption because Mayor Barbario does not like that word. But what I will say is Mayor Barbario, Councilman Negula, hopefully Councilman Karifi, we will vote you out. We will vote you out.
Okay. Seeing no, okay, someone else.
What time is it?
Good evening. I didn't prepare anything for tonight, so I apologize.
Sir, please state your name.
Sure. Lad Turner, Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey, obviously.
Thank you.
I just want to point out, I probably don't politically align with most people in this room or up there. I'm an independent, and it's rare that I vote Republican recently. I came to the pilot program meetings a few months ago and was shocked at some of the attitudes and behaviors. For a living, I teach kids history and civics. And one thing people look for in politics is integrity and transparency. A gentleman came up earlier in a blue shirt. He exhibited that right here. He said something that might not have been popular, but he said it, he put it out there, he was being transparent, he was showing integrity. Starting this meeting tonight, you limited people's time to 1 minute, 80% decrease of time. I don't know if that covers integrity, but transparency, you could have warned people in advance, people prepared, you could have put that on social media. That's a complete lack of transparency. The way people belittle Councilman Musella, it makes me want to register as a Republican. I'm kind of surprised at the treatment.
10 seconds, sir.
And he's transparent. He goes places. I ran into him at Starbucks by accident. He shows integrity. He stands up. He speaks to people. He talks to people. He's transparent in what he says. I have to applaud that in government. Be more transparent.
Time's up, sir.
And by the way, please don't belittle people in the audience. Don't engage in the back and forth. That's a lack of integrity on your part. Paul, thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Is that guy, just making sure he's not coming up. Okay, sitting down. Okay, seeing no one else, I'd like to entertain anyone else? Okay, seeing no one else, I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public session.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Hernandez, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Moving along to the consent agenda. Be it resolved, all items listed with an asterisk are considered routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. May I please have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving along to the approval of minutes. We're approving the minutes for the agenda meeting, the reorganization meeting, and the regular meeting. May I please have a motion to approve the minutes above?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving along to presentations and reports. Mayor?
I really don't have any reports for tonight, but I would like to read into the record the letter that I sent to the residents on Fox Chase Road to give them the good news with regards to the fence with Weiss Og. Oh, maybe not, I have the wrong glasses. Hold on. As you know, I take the residents' concerns and matters of public safety very seriously. Thank you for reaching out and bringing your concerns to our attention. I believe the meeting I had with members of the Fox Hill neighborhood, including Andy Cornwallis, Dorothy Allerine, and Snigdha and Amit Mitra in December, went well. Since then, despite some political maneuvering around this crucial issue, my office has been diligently working with Denville administration to find a solution to address your security and privacy concerns. We have some great news. Weiss Og has applied for a fence permit from Denville Construction Office, and it is our understanding that this will significantly reduce access to your property, providing security as well as more desirable aesthetics. Although this project was approved during the previous administration and in another town, I am grateful for the opportunity to help address this important community issue. So what I'm going to do is when we get updates, I guess I would contact Mr. Mitra. We'll contact you on all the updates going forward with regards to this matter and the permitting process, everything that we discussed prior to that as well. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
Township Council?
I have some words to prepare.
Thank you all for taking your time to participate in your right to freely express your opinions. Thank you to my fellow council members, the Board of Education, Parsippany Hills High School, and for enabling a forum for this expression. I also want to thank the Parsippany Police Department tonight and express my trust in their continued performance of their service to the community. I am not going to comment on the facts. The facts matter, and in the end, they will speak for themselves. Listening without prejudice or agenda is how I want to approach this. However, I do question the priority in bringing this matter to the council at this time. This issue is a high priority for those involved. While timeliness and motive may be questioned, this is an important matter to many. But do not confuse importance with priority. In choosing to advance this matter to the council, as with business before us, it consumes the limited time of the council when many other, perhaps more pressing priorities are at hand. And many of you have mentioned that. For example, we must approve the town budget in a shifting landscape that could, as we read every day, hold us hostage as others to withheld federal funds and grants. We must and will have to take time to focus, deal, and plan for that. One cannot help but ask, why is this before us right now, before the council? Nevertheless, we on council are here tonight, as always, to perform our responsibilities to the residents, and I thank you for coming out tonight.
Any other member of council?
Yes, but it's a council report. It's not on the subject that's on everybody's minds. Over the weekend, I attended the annual meeting for the Stickley Museum at Craftsman Farms. And discussions included 2025 fundraising for the museum's operations. Updates on the work is underway pursuant to their 5-year strategic plan. And some of the most important learnings from the meeting were that they want to, do improve on getting the news out about reopening after a long closure to rebuild from a severe storm damage in 2020. Parsippany residents are invited to take a tour of the museum on any Saturday or Sunday year-round, and residents of Parsippany receive a discounted admissions price. Join the Craftsman Farms for their Makers Day on Saturday, May 10th, 12:30 to 4:30. And there are 2 resolutions on the agenda for them, and I predict that they will pass without incident. So that was what they had asked me about. What I will say, I also met with some residents on Lakeshore, Rockaway, and River regarding out streetlights that JCP&L hasn't been addressing. So reported those for the residents there. Is there any update on getting an American flag in Lake Hiawatha Park, B.A. Cryan?
Yes, the Parks Department is doing that. The park was opening and then they were putting it in. So it'll be issued soon.
And then, just the 2 questions that I have are, when will the Board of Ed audit be completed and presented to the public, and when will the budget be presented as well?
For the audit, I have no information, as you and I have talked about on a number of occasions. For the budget, we're targeting April 15th right now.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Any other member of council?
Yes, I have something. I had a library meeting last night, and there's some information from the library. They have applied for 2 grants from AARP, and their hope with those grants is to create an outside reading area at the Lake Hiawatha Library. So that's something pretty neat over there. They also have revised their capital plan, which I believe will be available online. They talked about cyber liability insurance, which they have to get on their own because they're a separate entity and all their equipment is owned by the library, not the town, so they couldn't really go with the town. So they're getting that taken care of. There is a situation with the Lake Hiawatha Library. The AC is no longer working and they already started to dismantle it. They received a bid for $92K, but they also got a grant which brought it down to $68K. So they're asking if we can look into that as soon as possible because this is March 25th, and by the time we get it going and get people to bid, I'm sure there's a bid process that has to take place and so forth. I think that's something we need to try to do what we can to move forward on that because there's no air conditioning at all there from what they advised me. Also, they do have an architect that's going to work a little pro bono and at a reduced rate to look over the Lake Hiawatha Library to refurbish it for a refurbishment plan. And their strategic plan now includes, and they're looking to expand it, programs for special needs children. And they'll be having sensory hours for special needs children on April 6th, and we'll continue with that at the library moving forward. They're also going to be conducting a special needs resource fair, so that's something that's also they haven't done before, which is pretty good. Also, they applied for a grant, a New Jersey State grant for creative aging, and I asked what that is, and that's for older seniors to come together and make things like jewelry and so forth, so they're looking to do that to help the senior citizens, and I think that was it from the library. Thank you.
Any other member of council? Okay, Township Attorney?
No report this evening, Council President.
Business Administrator?
Thank you, Council President, Council. Just briefly wanted to give a couple of announcements. We received notice of a grant award from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, awarded us $3.4 million. The grant is being utilized for 3 projects: the Lake Hiawatha Pump Station project, new road pump station project and for change orders associated with pump station number 4. Took some time to get this award and with some of the changes of scope that we had to do with this, but there was a big help from Congresswoman Cheryl's office, her staff, and our grant writers over at Millennium, and our internal staff, in engineering, sewer, and water. So it's a matching grant in some ways, but they're giving 80% of it, and we have to come up the other 20%, which is really no big deal, because the project is going to cost much more than that. So coming up with 20% is no issue when you really have to come up with a lot more than that. This was also in addition to the $2 million principal forgiveness grant that we received from the iBank for Pump Station 4 redirection project. So some good news for us here. The 2 ordinances that were pulled, tabled, or not moved forward, not sure the appropriate language. The first one, 169 Lackawanna Avenue, had to do with Council President Karifi and Councilman McGrath had some language that they wanted included in the ordinance to make sure that there was coverage with, that the woods would remain. It was the intention of the developer, that's our understanding, but Council President and Council Member wanted to make sure that that was spelled out more clearly, and also to make sure that the bays were facing away from people's homes. With the cannabis ordinance, it had to do with vague language dealing with food establishments. So it wasn't clear, food establishments aren't allowed to be in retail cannabis establishments. They are allowed to be in the same strip mall if that was one of the locations that fit. So there was kind of vague language with that, so we just wanted to clean that up and make sure that that was clear for members of the public. Affordable housing, we are dealing with another lawsuit from the New Jersey Builders Association. Our affordable housing attorneys gave us updates on that in closed session. There will be a settlement hearing that is mandatory for that, to deal with that lawsuit, even though, in our opinion, or my opinion, but I know Mayor has voiced his opinion, it's very frivolous, and having the builders involved in suing us when it comes to affordable housing is just proof that this is not this pure savory situation, that there's a lot of money and a lot of vested interest in this to make sure that that these developments happen, because, and it's not just about helping the most or least fortunate. The recreation is hiring summer help, and summer camp registration is open, and that's all I have, Council President.
Thank you.
If I can add to that, with regards to the Mount Laurel decision, I've heard comments tonight about overdevelopment. It's not overdevelopment, it's redevelopment. There's a difference. And redevelopment is, we have 20 vacant office spaces in Parsippany, 20. And that's going to probably increase if the economy doesn't really pick up. So as you know, we have a certain amount of numbers that we have to meet, and we have no choice. So when people want to come up and attack and say, you got to stop the development, good luck. Because what happens is we can lose our immunity. We can be sued by the developer. When I was the administrator in Englewood Cliffs, they were sued. And they lost the case, and they lost their immunity. When you lose your immunity, basically what that means is the developer can bypass all your zoning laws, doesn't have to go to the planning or zoning board, granted by the judge. You have a special masters. So the council and the mayor, we have a lot that we have to handle here. Now, when you take the amount of the numbers that we have, I think it's 496 for this fourth round, we're still carrying over 463 affordable housing units from the last round, and we can't circumvent that. So I just want to know that, you know, when you want to talk about affordable housing, the state pretty much mandates it, handcuffs us. Why? Because it comes from the Supreme Court, so you can't even, when you try to challenge it, you're challenging the courts that made the decision. So we're doing the best that we can. You know, when I wasn't the mayor the 4 years, when the other mayor said he would not allow any development in town, he couldn't stop it. And I don't blame him for it because you're handcuffed. You're handcuffed by the mandates. So, you know, I just want everyone to know, everybody up here is handcuffed, as well as the administration. But that's a lot we have to tackle now. When you have 20 vacant office spaces, and I don't know, Matt, maybe you can remember the number. We had $1 billion in tax appeals last year. Thank God we have a very, very, very good tax assessor, because he got only $100 million $100 million agreed upon, and we actually had a rateable increase of $27 million. But eventually, if we don't do something, that's going to end. So I just want to make that clear, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, I have no report. Moving along to ordinances in first reading. Ordinance 2025-03, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a camp bag for calendar year 2025 pursuant to NJSA 48:40-45.14. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills held on March 18, 2025, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on April 15, 2025 at 7 p.m. prevailing time or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached, at the municipal building in said township, in which all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with a notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Motion?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Hernandez, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving along to the non-consent agenda. R 2025-77, authorizing a grant application FY 2026 strategic plan submission for the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. May I please have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Ms. Hernandez. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving along. R 2025-78, authorizing the submission of a grant application by the Stickley Museum at Craftsman Farms to the Morris County Historic Preservation Trust Fund for a 2025 grant for Craftsman Farms owned by the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills. Motion to approve the resolution above, please.
Motion. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving along to R 2025-79, authorizing the submission of a grant application by the Stickley Museum at Craftsman Farms to the New Jersey Historic Trust for 2025 Historic Site Management Grant for Craftsman Farms owned by the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Motion.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath. Mr.
Yes.
Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving along to R 2025-80, awarding contracts for yard waste transportation and disposal recycling. Motion to approve the above resolution, please.
Motion.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Ms. Hernandez. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving along to R 2025-81, authorizing a contract for a public relations consultant. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Well, Township Clerk, I just had a question before we proceed with the vote on this.
Absolutely.
I didn't get an explanation as to why we need a new public relations consultant. So can I just get an explanation on that?
I'll turn that over to the administration.
It's the yearly professional services awards. That's what this is. So it's really not a new one. It's the existing one.
Well, we were using direct development, but this is $65,000 for a new public relations consultant. Why are we getting a new one?
Oh, I'm sorry. The direct development was bought out by this firm.
So this is the new firm?
Yes.
And when I looked at their client list, I was very surprised that we would go with a very hyper-partisan organization that represents Phil Murphy for governor, Steve Fulop for governor, Hudson County Democratic Organization. I'm surprised we would go with an organization like that, given, the administration's conservative values. What appealed to you about this organization?
I don't think that there was a lot of competition that submitted.
How many bids did we get?
I don't have the number in front of me, but I don't think I think we only had one. And it's not a bid.
All right, so...
And really, it's not a political function. They also do things for many towns, too. So I believe that they do have a political arm, that they do work on political campaigns, but this isn't for a political campaign. This is for the township.
Okay, so can I have a motion for the resolution, please?
Motion.
Sorry, who made the motion?
I think we had one.
Mr. Neglia.
Mr. Neglia, okay, can I get a second?
Just a second for this.
Oh, second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
No.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, so it's 4-1. Motion passes. Moving along to R 2025-82, awarding legal professional service agreements. May I please have a motion to approve the above resolution?
Motion.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving along to R 2025-83, awarding professional service agreements for a hearing officer. Motion to approve the resolution above.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving along to R 2025-84, awarding professional engineering service agreements. May I please have a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. R 2025-85, awarding legal professional service agreements. Can I please have a motion to approve the resolution above?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Okay. R 2025-86, resolution to censure Councilman Justin Musella for exhibiting his councilman credentials during a traffic stop. Could I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Hernandez, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Mr. Hernandez.
No.
Mr. McGrath. Mr. McGrath?
Yeah, I'm thinking. It's a challenge. There's a lot of conversation that came up, and it's interesting to me that when I took this oath of office, when I took this role, I bragged about trying to do the right things for my children. And as I mentioned, I haven't taken advantage of anything. There's no pullovers, there's no warnings, there's no nothing within my family or my wife or anybody else. And for me, when I sit here and I think about it, there are some valid points that some of the officers have brought up, where they give this to people that they know in town. I'm not a known entity. I only ran last year, so it's my first year in any sort of public servitude. I wonder if there's an alternative. And I'm going to go, Toby Anderson said something I thought was pretty interesting. Because our challenge is that if people are speeding and getting away with it, that doesn't help anyone in this town, regardless of what way you vote or who you feel is the better candidate. You're not getting a better option. Is there an option that we can put forward that the police in this town, if they see us, any one of us speeding or doing something illegal, they have to ticket us, rather than allowing us to get away with something. So I'm going to put forward an alternative. Let's add that then instead. So I'll vote no if we had an alternative. Oh, hold on. If we had an alternative to what I just said, where we're not getting away with something. Because I took an oath of office, and I know some of you think it's a lie. I actually mean it. We should not be able to get away with something if my average neighbor does it. If I choose not to run in 2 years, I expect that to be the same person who sits here to have the same opinion. So I want to put that out as an option. Do we agree as a council that that's an option?
But before and thank you for coming up with an alternative instead of
Mr. Anderson.
but what's been presented. Just so we're clear, is this on a go-forward basis, or are we going to look back into?
No.
I'm sorry, before we continue, is that going to be in the form of a resolution? Because this resolution is on the floor now. We have to get rid of this resolution, and this alternative we can bring up in the form of a motion, absolutely.
So before I say anything, then I'd like to hear from some of my other council members. How do you feel about what I asked? Judy, Paul, Frank?
You know, John, you brought up, all valid points about police and who they ticket and who they don't. The issue that I had with this whole thing, and we had actually given Mr. Musella the opportunity to discuss this in closed session, and it would have ended there. It would have ended there, but he decided he wanted it out and to make a big spectacle about the whole thing. But let me finish. If you go back and, all your supporters here could go back and look at some of the videotapes where my issue is he's bashing our police department it's on tape. He's bashing our police department for not enforcing speeding and not issuing enough speeding tickets in this particular neighborhood, and went to residents and said that if he becomes mayor, he will make sure that they issue speeding tickets and enforce and this and that in the same neighborhood that he got pulled over speeding. So I'm just, listen, you can argue, you could say, he knows that was the case. It's on video. If you go back and look at past meetings, you'll see. So that's where, but John, you bring up a great point. But to go and after you've been pulled over for this, in fact, this thing, and then you bash our police department for not doing anything, not enforcing laws, but you, in fact, are one of the people that are speeding and not getting a ticket. Okay, that's just where I had the issue with it. And like I said, we gave Mr. Musella the opportunity. We were gonna go in closed session, talk about it, just say, hey, listen, my big beef is don't bash our police department for not doing their job, and then you go and speed. I would think. What? If you go to the videotapes of our previous meetings, you will hear him repeatedly stating that. It's a fact. It's on record. Okay? It's on record. And then when we questioned Mr. Musella a couple meetings ago, on record, he said this was the only time it happened. If you recall. All right, so let me add, I'll just throw this out there. If anybody's been pulled over multiple times in the last couple years, you wouldn't remember that?
Calm down!
I'm talking. We're having a discussion here. Please. We're having a discussion. We're having a discussion up here. Okay. I'm just stating facts. Go to the past meetings. See, this is what the ignorance of some of you. Why you won't go back and look. You know what? I'm going to speak to one resident here. John, all I'll ask is that I totally agree with everything you said. Totally agree. But I would just ask you, if you wouldn't mind, if you have the time, just go back and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
I just want to represent a fair point.
No, I totally agree with you.
We do have discretion.
Totally agree. Please, I'm trying to hear him.
I don't know a single officer who has never been pulled over and never tinned their way out. Whether it's for
Can you come up to the mic, please? This way you're on the record. You can't speak from the crowd. Thank you.
Sir, so I'll just give you the scenario why.
Go ahead, sir.
Listen, we don't write the laws. We don't make these laws. We don't do that. The issue here is, and I'll put you in this, I'll give you this scenario. The officer knew, it's been out there for a while, that Mr. Musella was running for mayor, okay? If you're the officer and now you issue him a ticket, okay? In the back of your mind, are you thinking like, well, I'm not gonna give this guy the ticket because if he were to become mayor, okay, I might not get promoted. You think I'm gonna get promoted after I gave him a ticket? Hey?
Okay, it's not on?
No, that's okay.
No.
Can we get the microphone on?
Let him talk.
Please, let him
Hold on.
talk.
I think that.
Give him a mic.
You can just grab that mic.
Oh.
The gym's open for everybody. I distinctly remember my first police job was in Seaside Heights Police Department. I started my career as a special 2000, before 9/11. I was in the oral interview and they asked, if you pull over the chief, would you write him a ticket? And the chief was in there, the lieutenant, captains, everybody who mattered. I said, of course not. And they said, why not? I said, well, first of all, he's the chief. Second of all, you have discretion.
Right.
We've all been afforded that opportunity before.
I was asked the same. I was asked, do you pull over a car? You didn't recognize the car. You pull over the car, your mother's driving. You're going to give her a ticket?
Absolutely
Of course
not.
Of course not. Right. I agree. I totally agree with you. I just was stating what my issue was of the whole.
Now, if there's lying, if there's other reasons, that's a different story. But let's not sit on a soapbox, anybody who's in law enforcement, and say, I've
totally agree with you. Totally agree.
I've been pulled over, and I've been the recipient of what do we call it, Paul?
Totally
Professional
agree.
courtesy. Correct?
Totally agree with you.
Right.
Totally agree.
Have I been pulled over 7 times? I've been a cop for 22 years. I guarantee you it's been 7 times.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you the truth.
Okay.
I have a fellow here who knows me. How many motor vehicle summonses have I written, Michael? Am I heavy-handed? Am I heavy-handed, Michael? Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. We need the mic back.
Can I just make a quick statement? I understand that a lot of people have strong feelings on this issue, but let's not mistake the difference between recommending ways we can improve a better job, and I do believe that our Parsippany Police Department does a great job. And providing recommendations for improvement is not the same thing as bashing. We had Mr. Mazzarella come up and said, we need to work together. And there are many more issues that are of a bigger priority than of what we're discussing. And there isn't one day that hasn't gone by since this whole trial by ambush began that I just wish the police officer gave us a ticket that day and we would have paid it and that would have been the end of this. But, you know, having said that, I would be open to what Councilman McGrath has proposed, exploring that, and it sounds like a code of conduct for just the governing body, and I'm open to what he has to say on that, and maybe what others have to say.
Okay.
No.
So Mr. McGrath, no. Next is Mr. Neglia.
Yes, thank you. I want to say something too. You know, I came to this meeting, you know, I was very angry. I was very angry at some of the things that have happened to me and my family by way of someone's campaign. And I was very angry, but I did listen to what everyone said here tonight. And I listened to what my co-council members here have said tonight. Justin, you know, you're young, you're immature, you make mistakes. That's part of growing up. That's part of growing. Please let me finish.
Please.
That's part of growing up, and what I was about to say is we all have done stupid things like that. And you know, I don't want to attack you for my personal reasons, but I want to listen to the facts here that I've heard tonight by my co-council members. And like I said, I have personal reasons, and I'm sure you know what they are. And you know, I want to put those aside and do what's the right thing. And I have to agree with my co-councilman Matt McGrath, and I will have to also vote no.
Okay, and Mr. Karifi.
All right. To many of you on this side of the room over here, I'm sure this is going to shock you, but you know, I've always said I've always listened to the residents. I've always listened to the residents. What? Can you give me a sec? All right? I've always listened to the residents, okay? And, you know, I have to agree with what Mr. McGrath said, and you know, I wasn't even aware until this was brought up at this council meeting that I told the gentleman that asked a question about these statues. I didn't even know about those, okay? So that's when we became aware of it, and that's when we asked if we were obligated to do something about it. Again, I think this could have just been handled behind closed doors and just said, hey, listen, these statutes and these laws are out there, so don't do it anymore. I actually had somebody say to me, well, you know, that's a resident that I was trying to adjust and work with, like Mr. Musella on this. The resident said, well, that's a stupid law, so it's okay that he broke it. I had a resident say that. I'm like, well, we don't write the laws, all right? But, I mean, that mentality is just, you know, come on. We had another resident, say, well, he helped me with a tree, so he broke the law. It should be okay. He helped me with the tree. I didn't say you said that, Mr. You didn't say it, okay? So this is a totally different instance. So, you know, we don't write the laws. You know, long story short, I'm voting no. Okay?
Okay, we have 4 no votes, so the motion fails and the resolution is dead.
Well then, I don't want to give up on this conversation now.
Okay,
Right,
hold on 1 second, let's just wait for the crowd. Okay, so now, Mr. McGrath, before we proceed, if you do have some other recommendation, you're more than welcome to discuss and make it in the form of a motion at this point in time, or you can do it at a later time and discuss it with council.
So I'll have to put it in writing then to you, but I still think, as I described, we need to put forward a motion that prohibits this happening in the future. So moving forward, we have to come up with a way that Parsippany is not giving warnings to anybody who sits up here at the dais, and we stop.
So I'd recommend if you can put that in writing, send it over to the business administrator along with the township attorney, and you can copy me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving along, we can just ask, we're almost done, 2 minutes, we're almost done, I promise. Approval of payroll and bills list, CFO Angelica
Please, we have a few more things.
CFO Angelica Sabatini recommends authorization for payment, authorizes payment for the March 28, 2025 regular and miscellaneous payroll estimated at $1,650,000. Number 2, payment of bills from voucher list of 318, which is $2,004,231.51. Could I get a motion to approve the authorization?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
All right, could I please have a motion?
Before, I just want to say one thing
Sure.
to my colleagues. I want to thank you for voting no and putting to bed what was a very difficult last 30 days for, especially my wife and I. And to Council Vice President Neglia's point, my issues have never been personal, and they are strictly professional, and it will always stay that way. And I don't think there is ever a need for anybody's families always ever to be involved.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Justin. I would
and-
definitely appreciate
and-
the
and-
personal attacks on my family stopping by some of the folks that are running with you. I would appreciate the phone calls to my house. I would appreciate them to stop. I would appreciate the mailers that are coming to my house in unmarked envelopes. And it all started during the campaign, so I can't say where it was coming from, but if you know anywhere it was and you could help me stop that, I'd appreciate that.
What I'll say is, separate from everything, I'm running an above-board campaign. Anything that does not have my name on it does not come from me, and anything that is directed to either candidate's families is unacceptable to me, and I will not, for 1 second, ever support something like that. So I want to say that for the record, both ways, and I want to thank my colleagues for their decision. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Okay. Could I please have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
I'm not going to get a second for an adjournment?
Nope.
Second.
Having too much fun.
All right. Motion made by Mr. Hernandez, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
We're adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.